Today we're going to talk about all of the books I bought. Oh my. Welcome to A Bit Much with T.W. Clausen. I'm T.W. Clausen. I kind of splurged. Every year I ask people for comic books for Christmas, but they don't know which comic books to get me, so I always ask for gift cards for Amazon. So at least that's what I used to do. And then I kind of stopped doing that because I found things that I actually wanted instead, because I became a dad and a husband and a D&D nerd. So there were actual things that people could get for me. But then, people still just get me Amazon gift cards when they're uncertain about what to get me. And I think that's great because I love it so much. If all I got was, gift cards for Amazon, I would be so happy. Now, I know some of our smaller local bookstores are not going to be very happy with me. I apologize. But it's just the truth of the thing. I always have done comic books through Amazon, and I probably always will, just because it's super fun. But this year, I decided to do something a little bit different, and I bought some books for myself from independent authors, people who are, still getting their name out there. So I thought that I would talk about the books that I got, because these are the books I plan on reading this year. I want to see what it's like for other authors and what they produce, because I want to either meet that or exceed that in some way. And I'm excited about the Penny Lich, so I wanted to make sure that it's up to standards with other people in my peer group, independent or self-published authors. So these are all books from people like that. The first one is going to be, would you look at that? It's The Penny Lich by a very unknown author that you may know. Me. Penny Lich, T.W. Clausen. This is the first bundle. Second bundle comes out at the end of this month. So that is very exciting, by the way. Big news on that end. I don't know what to do with this book now that it's over there. So I've gotten the files uploaded. I've gotten the files approved. I had to resubmit because there were some things that I had problems with that I needed to fix. Namely, in the story Witcher, I Hardly Know Her, there's two forms of the word witch, right? There's W-H-I-C-H, which is which of those books do I want to buy, right? And then there's witch, W-I-T-C-H, which is, like The Witcher, which is a witch, a magic sort of thing. I got them both wrong. When I did the Witcher, I Hardly Know Her, I wrote W-T-I-T-C-H-E-R. I got both of them wrong, so I had to fix it. The thing is, and I put this past a few people, I did need to make a decision on which was I going to go with, because I thought it was really funny when I wrote W-H-I-C-H-E-R, Witcher, I Hardly Know Her. And when you get into the story, you're going to understand why that's funny, because her is a whole, the character's choosing between two girls, essentially, is the idea. And so that's the Witcher. And then there's the classic Witcher, right? W-I-T-C-H, Witcher, which we all know. I'm saying the word witch a lot in this video. So there's that. And so I was made aware of the fact that because I'm already doing a pun, I'm not allowed to put another pun on top of that pun. But I think that that's BS. So You guys let me know in the comments. Should I have done WHICHER? Make sure you write that, especially after you've read the story, which is the second story in the second bundle, and let me know which Witcher should I have gone with. Anyway, I don't know where I was with that. Oh, that was one of the things that I had to fix, and I basically had to re-upload the title artwork that I did for that story, as well as some grammatical errors that I found on the back cover and stuff. So I had to re-upload that. That takes some time, and then I had to get that approved, and then I had to approve the approval. So now I've got 3 copies of the second bundle on their way to me, hopefully soon, so that I can approve them, like physically, like, hey, all right, these look good. And then hopefully the end of this month, it will be a good book to buy. So that'll be a big deal once that comes out. So that's that on that front. Let's take a quick break and watch a video of my son walking through Hobby Lobby. It's almost his first birthday, and I'm very excited to be celebrating that. There's something about fatherhood that changes you, and one of those changes is that you're terrified at every moment of every day that your son is going to die. It's literally the scariest stuff. So to get to 1 year after hearing horror stories of people losing their children, I feel really blessed, really happy, and that video is super fun. And if you listen to it, it almost sounds like Eileen is actually Allie. Come on, Allie! Which his nickname is Allie, so I love that. And I'm not going to sing any more for you guys. Instead, let's talk about the first book I got. And this, hey man, wait your turn. This is the first book I got, Breach of Peace, by Daniel B. Green. There's a second Daniel Green on Amazon, by the way. Super confusing. Don't you hate that when like your very specific name happens to be somebody else's very specific name, and you're an author, and you're like, oh, I'm so unique. My name being this and this and this, and being an author, no one else will have that combination. And then it turns out there is one other person who's doing that. It's really annoying. Anyway, Daniel wrote a book that I'm excited to check out. I know almost nothing about it itself. It's pretty small as far as books go, and the font and text is rather large, so I don't think it's going to be a long story. I think it's probably more of a novella, which is right up my alley. But I know Daniel Green. I don't know him, but I know of him because I started watching his videos on YouTube. And if you're a fan of fantasy, Brandon Sanderson, all of that jazz, Daniel goes really in depth on videos about fantasy and mostly Brandon Sanderson. But he's really, really smart guy, and he's really entertaining to watch, and he seems to know his stuff. So I'm excited to check out a book that shows off what he's gathered and gleaned from the world of fantasy, from him deep diving into that. I can only assume he does it for the same reason that I do between Lewis and Lovecraft. So I have to support that. So I'm really, really excited about that. It's probably going to be the first one I do, to kick off things and make sure that it's easy. It's, small like that. I love that. I love it so much. The next book is going to be Z.E.D.S Rising by Bradley Botts. Now, to be honest, I bought this a while ago, probably about a year or so ago. I was really excited to check it out. Bradley's a really cool guy. He does his own podcast, Creator's Dementia, and I don't know why it's not up there. It needs to be up there so you can check it out. He writes zombie stuff, which is dope. Love zombie stuff. I've tried writing a zombie story or two. So absolutely in love with zombies, and I can't wait to check out this. If you want to dive into the world of zombies, then maybe you'll check out Z.E.D.S Rising. Bradley has his podcast, like I said. He also does TikToks. There's a couch over there, so just so you guys know, it's landing on something soft. And all around great guy. You guys should check him out. The last one that I already had opened, I opened this one right before Christmas, and I started reading the first short story. This is an anthology by Curtis A. Deeter. I know Curtis through a writing group that I'm in, and he is an excellent guy, and he has submitted several stories to Between Lewis and Lovecraft for their Halloween episodes. I think he might have even done one for when we did a sci-fi episode. I'm not sure. I'd have to go back and listen. But he has definitely written for the Halloween episodes, and he does a fantastic job. He's a great writer. He seems like a really cool guy. He's an internet friend, so it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, yeah, he's absolutely cool. So you guys should definitely check it out. I mean, anthologies are great, right? Because it's a bunch of short stories. You can just read them while you're on the toilet and stuff. That is definitely where I plan on reading this book, is on the toilet. Hopefully it's not crap. You see what I did there? Anyway, so this is a book. Let's open it up, take a look, and see. I got these from a list that I've been cultivating for a while. Basically, anytime I met someone, or on Between Lewis and Lovecraft, when I did a correspondence episode, and I would have someone on the show, I would immediately add their book to my list. And I kind of grabbed just the top ones that I had on there for a while. And so it's pretty cool to see these in person, because a lot of these I've had on my list for a long time. All right, this is a very cool cover. The art is extremely cool. This is Rebellion, The Departure by Mason Allen. I did an episode of correspondence with Mason actually towards the end of this last year. I met him through a D&D podcast that we kind of both love and are part of the community of. And he is a really, really smart guy. Talking to him was really cool because he knows his stuff, and he's really into D&D, really into writing. He knows how to tell a good story. He's constantly writing new materials for Dungeons & Dragons 5e, although that's probably going to stop with all of the OGL stuff going on, which we're not going to go into on this episode of a bit much. But if you want to check out what's happening in the TTRPG world right now, you should definitely go look up the OGL 1.0 and how Wizards of the Coast is trying to ruin that. So this book is the first book in a duo, I think. I don't know if I've seen a third one or a series come out yet, but this says Clayton Moore and the rest of the group of super soldiers he's a part of have spent years planning to break their friend out of prison. After all this time, they're finally ready to put their plan into action. However, Earth is a dangerous place these days, ravaged by plague hordes and ruled by nigh omnipotent tyrants. Friends are few and far between, particularly for Clay's kind. So, as Clayton and the others begin to face obstacles, the question arises, what chance do they have of saving anyone if they can't even make it to the rendezvous point? So, sci-fi sounding, superheroes, robots. This sounds amazing. I can't wait to dig into this and tell you guys what I think of Mason Allen's Rebellion Book 1. I do have a website, so if you're an indie author or a self-published author and you want a little shout-out, you can always feel free to reach out to me on my website, twclawson.com, and let me know if you want a shout-out or if you want to promote your book or your works at all. I'm more than happy to do that, and if you decide you want to send me a copy, I'm not going to say no. Ooh, this is Unclaimed, a novel by Laurie Wetzel. I really hope I say that last name right because I am really bad at names. Laurie is a friend of mine that I met through an online writing group, and I've been following her for a little bit of time. In fact, let me look this up, which is great podcast. Laurie Wetzel has always had a passion for writing, but it wasn't until New Year's resolution in 2011 that she finally shared her lifelong dream of being an author with her husband. He read the very first draft of Unclaimed and gave her the words she needed to hear. This is what you need to be doing. 3 years later, her dream became reality when her first book in the Unclaimed series was published. If you want to check her out, it's lauriewetzel.com. So basically the way it's written here, plus .com. So I think it's really cool that she has had support in her life of, I want to do this. And then somebody said, you should absolutely be doing this. And that's really cool to me. So I'm excited to check this out. It's pretty thick as far as books go. I love the artwork. Make sure you check that out. I'm not good at reading. I know it seems like I might be because I am an author and I have lots of books, but we made it on the couch. It's fine. I'm not a big reader. And that's kind of what I want to change this year, is actually reading physical books, which is great because most indie authors can't afford audiobooks. It costs so much money. You know how I know that? Because I record audiobooks here in the studio. And we charge a lot of money. All right. This book I'm super excited about. Oh, it's so much bigger than I thought it was going to be, too. Holy cow. For some reason, I thought it was going to be like the size of this one, right? Which is Daniel Green's. Again, love that. This is not a knock on Daniel. But I genuinely, for some reason, I thought that this was going to be a smaller book. So this is a book that I was caught my attention while I was scrolling through TikTok. And sometimes TikTok really works, and it knows its algorithm, and it gets somebody in the eyes of someone that they should be in front of. For Dan Willis, I think that is working. He does a really good job of just kind of having fun on TikTok and promoting his book. You can see the art is really good, especially for, I believe this is an indie published book. I could be wrong, but I believe it's an indie published book. The artwork is really, really cool. I absolutely love it. And I know what they say, don't judge a book by its cover, but I'm a designer and I love creating book covers. So I'm always going to judge a book by its cover. So you're just going to have to deal with that. So Dan Willis writes these books. I think there's 9 stories so far. And this is in 1933 New York. There are 2 kinds of magic. The all-powerful sorcerers who use their abilities to acquire wealth and fame, and the rune wrights who scratch out what meager spells they can to make a living. Decidedly in the latter category, Alex Lockerbie, I'm good at reading. Alex Lockerbie uses his magic to aid him in his work as a private detective consulting for the police on cases with mystical ties. You ever notice how when you mess up reading, you get really self-conscious about your reading and you keep messing up? It's pretty crazy. When a lethal magical plague is released in a Manhattan soup kitchen, the police fear it is a test for more devastating attacks. They call in the big guns, the FBI and their own consultant, Burt Macklin. I'm joking, it's not Burt Macklin. It's Saoirse Kincaid, New York's resident sorceress. Wanting to help, Alex instead finds himself under suspicion because of his ties to the priest who ran the kitchen. I'm really, really, really excited about this. I don't know if this will be the second one because it seems like it might be a little close to Preach. Come on, Tyler, you can talk. Breach of Peace, kind of an urban fantasy sort of thing. So I might try something different between these two, but I'm definitely going to get to this one as quickly as I can. I'm very, very excited about this, and I hope that you guys might be willing to give it a try. I'll let you know what I think once I've done so. Dunzo! I got a big package. Ow! Frick! I did it. First book out of there is The Withering by P.S. Patton. I'm pretty good friends with P.S. Patton. Had him on Between Lewis and Lovecraft. He is a musician who also writes. He had his first short story published about 1.5 years ago, and he's been working on The Withering for some time. That is all I know about this book because I didn't care. I just wanted to pick it up, and now I'm going to read it. During the apocalypse, final days of Nalaro. P.S. What you doing to me, man? You're making up words that I can't read. And then I look dumb on my newsletter podcast. 3 orphan teens have nothing left in the world but each other. A sardonic sorcerer offers them a way off their dying world, but at what cost? Family, courage, and faith are at the heart of this end-of-the-world adventure. That tells me almost nothing about this story, but I am going to read it, and I'm very excited to. But also, look at that artwork. That is beautiful. I mean, you got like the world stuff going on, but then it's all like decayed and stuff over here, and then you got the classic, words. I'm super excited about this. I can't wait to dive in. This will be one that I'm probably going to. Maybe I'm going to read this second. I'm going to probably read this one second because you know what? It's way different than the other two. There's a little more sci-fi stuff. It's such a cool art cover piece. It's very cool. I'm very excited. I'm nerding out now. I'm just kind of rambling. Patton, good job. Well done. I'm proud of you. Second to last is going to be Through the Mountains by Melinda Andrews. Melinda is within a... That's a weird way. She's in a Facebook group that I'm in, and I've seen her go through a lot, and I really wanted to support her, and she writes a ton, and I was really, really excited to get started on the process of reading all of her work. Through the Mountains says, Okay, here's the thing. When I read fantasy and I come up to a word that I don't know because it's obviously made up, I just kind of, right? I just kind of move past it in my head. Like I can recognize the word. I know what it means. I know what it represents. I don't want to have to say it out loud. Even in my own work, I'm going to be honest. I've written some things that I've been like, I don't know how it's pronounced. I had somebody else tell me how someone's name was pronounced in a book that I wrote because I was like, I have no idea. They're like, how do you say this? I'm like, beats me. I say S. So stop writing weird names. I mean, I get it. It's cool. I apologize if I get it wrong. To Rihanna. To Rihanna. Life was simple. She and her mother lived on the outskirts of a village in the secluded Hraldogs Mountains of Björgen. They grew or hunted what they could and traded for the rest. Her best friend for 20 years of her life, Damien, thank you, and his family were there for her without question, at least until a mysterious figure reveals something within her, setting in motion events that sweep Ryona into a conflict decades in the making. After another figure's unexplained visit, Ryona is required to accept that the abilities she has had for so long and tried to hide come from magic. But since Moriel, but since Moriel destroyed the legendary Ryders and their powerful dragons 21 years prior, magic was something to be feared by the people. Magic is dangerous, and those using it were sought out and killed. So that is Through the Mountains. I mean, it seems like a pretty innocent title, right? And we're just going to go through the mountains. No big deal. Turns out it's a huge epic story that spans several different volumes. So this is going to be a long trek through the mountains, guys. Buckle up. We're going deep. Last one. Let me just... is Fate's A Dark Legacy by L.D. Toler the Second. I love that he has the second in his name, because I don't think I've ever seen that for an author before. Also, wouldn't they normally be junior? Junior? I guess the second sounds way cooler than junior. Check out that sword. Incredibly unuseful, because that would be so thick in one's hand that they can't even do anything. It'd be like, I don't know what to do. It's massive. But you know what? I don't even care. I'm excited about this book and getting a chance to read it. As I alluded to with me being ridiculous about all of this, look how big that book is. This is some Lord of the Rings BS that L.D. Toler is making me deal with. You know, for being so thick, it doesn't want to stand up. That's what she said. The nation of Dresdia. You know what? It's not cool what you guys are doing to me. The nation of Dresdia has fallen into despair as the royal family turns their backs on their people. Civil war looms on the horizon, and the promises of a warlord seduce the people to rally to his cause. Amidst the chaos, the powers of a dark god have begun to surface, and with them come ancient creatures of lore and the rise of the dead. Prince Asian Dresha, Prince Asian Dresha sees his people suffering and takes a stand against anyone and anything threatening his kingdom. By his own initiative, Asian sets out to save his people from the evils of gods and mortals alike. His attention is turned towards the forgotten capital, Z.E.D.S, where the ancient dark god resides. After 12 years of searching the world over, Seaver Dresha returns to Dresdia with nothing but disdain and resentment. The hunt for Victor the Black proved fruitless, and now his desire for revenge has begun to stagnate. A flicker of hope is rekindled when he learns of the prince's ambitions and the possibilities they may discover in Z.E.D.S, should they survive all the trials set against them. So, you know, lighthearted, fun, no biggie, just a quick read. I'm probably going to get through this weekend. So that's all the books that I bought for me to read and then share with you guys. I hope you guys liked looking at the art covers stuff. I plan on kicking out the new year by reading as much as I can. I've got a couple ideas to kind of help make that be a little bit more fun, and we'll see how it goes. I am really excited about what I got going on right now with reading and writing. I've made a couple of changes to the new stories that I'm writing for the Penny Lich. I started writing one with a specific name in mind because that's how I do it, and I don't care if that's wrong. And as I started writing it, I realized that I had a different idea that's much better for that name. So I'm kind of changing things up there, but then I'm keeping what I've written for the next story. So it'll be kind of like I haven't wasted it, but it's still, that's what's nice about this process is I can take a story and I can manipulate it so it can be whatever I want it to be in whatever position. I also need to start thinking about how I'm going to end this season, because once I'm done with this volume 3, which I'm starting to write now, volume 4 is the finale of season 1. And that means I got to ramp things up and kind of make connections where maybe I haven't actually made any connections as far as story goes. I've only made it look like I've made connections. And that is a dangerous place to be, because I don't know what I'm going to do. Anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I hope you guys had a lot of fun looking at all these books. If you want to go support these authors, I'm going to try and make sure I get all of their descriptions into the comments or into the description below, so you guys can click on them and go check out their books and maybe their social medias, stuff like that. If you want to support me in this page, make sure you go check out my website, twclawson.com, where you can buy the Penny Lich. Hold on. Where you can buy the Penny Lich, Volume 1, the release bundle, and then Volume 2 should be out by the end of this month. You can also sign up for the newsletter, where this series will just get emailed to you, or you can make sure you subscribe, hit the notification bell so that you can know when I post new things there, or you can go to Patreon. You can do that through my website as well, by the way. Patreon will allow you to support what I do here, as well as get notifications when I post new videos. Sometimes I do a little bit of writing and post it on there, and it would be a great way to help me make this something I do more often. Maybe we'll get some merch in someday. Maybe we'll get some other stuff. So go check that out. Okay, bye. That's right. It's the end of the episode, where I like to thank my patrons. We've got more patrons to thank than ever before in my entire writing career. So I want to thank you guys so much. Gage Runkle, Tyler Frankie, Ivani Anjali, Brianna Fenty, and Paul Davis. Thank you guys for being the best people in the entire world. And I hope you enjoy watching me stack books, because I 100% forgot to thank you guys while I was recording this yesterday, so you're listening to editing Tyler now. So enjoy that. Love you guys. Okay, see you guys later.